Before we get into today's program, there's an important opportunity I want to share with you over these next couple of minutes. The semi-annual Big 5 Lab Bundle sale happening now through next Sunday. Taking control of your health has never been easier, and saving $1,000 in this huge semi-annual event for the Big 5 Functional Medicine Lab Bundle is a win-win. These are the exact top 5 lab tests I recommend to every new wellness client in our integrative health practice that are ready to stop the guessing and finally take a comprehensive deep dive into their overall health and well-being. Each of these labs offers a unique perspective of assessing the body and how certain underlying imbalances may be holding you back from achieving your optimal level of health and vitality. By running the Big 5 Functional Medicine lab tests, you will have the ability to actually discover what your deficiencies and toxicities are. And from there, you can then build your body back up while ridding it of toxins that are stealing your energy and performance and having you feeling less than your best. The Big 5 consists of the Minerals and Metals test, the complete Candida Metabolic and Vitamins test, the IgG Food Sensitivity test, the Omega-3 and Inflammation test, and the complete Stress, Mood, and Metabolism test. Each of these state-of-the-art labs were specifically chosen for ease of use. That means I can mail these labs directly to you and they can be completed by you right at home. And that translates to better compliance, faster results, and happier, healthier clients. Plus, included in this big money-saving package, you'll receive a coaching call with a certified integrative health practitioner to review your lab results. This is the time of year that I personally run my own Big 5 labs to stay on track with my energy and performance. It's time to stop guessing and finally take back control of your health and body. This opportunity for big savings on the Big 5 won't happen again until next year, so get started with the link in the show notes before the offer expires. Now enjoy the show. You may or may not be satisfied with how you feel today, and it most likely wasn't just one thing that got you to where you are currently. And this can actually be applied to your entrepreneurial journey as well as your health journey. And it's common knowledge that what got you here won't get you there. And there meaning to your next level of success in business or in wellness. In this episode of the Breaking Boundaries podcast for entrepreneurs, you'll discover what may have led you to your current state of health and then the 8-point system to de-stress your life. Hello, I'm Jeffrey Mort. If you're like most entrepreneurs, you're busy taking care of business, yet who's taking care of you? As a certified integrative health practitioner and consulting hypnotist, I'm widely considered a leader for naturally improving energy and performance, as I've coached world-renowned entrepreneurs and athletes to higher performance health and unstoppable confidence. Here you'll find no wasted time as we distill my unique blend of functional medicine, ancient wisdom, and subconscious reprogramming into actionable steps to create ultra-healthy and laser-focused super achievers. If you're ready to take your energy and performance to the next level in your life and your business, then this podcast is for you. Because today, you're going to start breaking boundaries of your mind, body, and business with integrative health. And when you do that, your possibilities are limitless. I'm grateful you're here. I'm grateful for you joining me today. Welcome to another Healthy Thursday episode of the Breaking Boundaries podcast for entrepreneurs. This is episode number 10. And of course, you want to stay till the end when we bring it all together to help you avoid failure and reach your next level of success with integrative health. And for all the show notes and links, visit jeffreymort.com and click on the podcast tab. So today, you're going to discover about the 8-point system that we use in our private wellness practice. And if you're the type of entrepreneur that values your health, then you're in the right place today. We're talking about undesired health issues that are holding you back from serving yourself. Remember, we cannot pour from an empty cup. I know it's cliche. I know you've probably heard it before, but honestly, that's where it starts, is serving yourself So then you can go on to serve your family. If you don't have the energy, if you don't have, that vitality in your life currently, then, how are you going to serve your family if you're not taking care of yourself? So first, serving yourself, then serving your family, and then serving your clients. And if you have these undesired health issues that are holding you back, those are boundaries. Things like arthritis, things like type 2 diabetes, things like cardiovascular disease or cardiovascular issues. Maybe you've already had a heart attack or stroke, or maybe you have been warned by your doctor that you have cardiovascular issues. Maybe you have fibromyalgia, where you have this joint pain that's just traveling throughout your entire body. Some days it's in your elbow, another day it's in your hip, another day it's in your legs. You just can't deal with that. Maybe you have an autoimmune disease. Maybe even cancer. Maybe even you have that wild card of cancer. And those are all medically diagnosed conditions. Now, a diagnosis, and I was just talking with somebody the other day on this, a diagnosis is nothing more than one name given to a group of symptoms. And those symptoms, each of those symptoms are all caused by an underlying root cause. And these root cause issues could be inflammatory imbalances or immune imbalances, could be digestive imbalances, hormone imbalances. They all come down to two things that I keep mentioning over and over again, and those are toxicities and deficiencies. Those are the main two reasons why we get ill or become unwell. So, today I'm wearing my integrative health practitioner hat, I always have my hypnotist, my consulting hypnotist hat on as well. But today, specifically, Healthy Thursday, we're talking about, lessons learned from being an integrative health practitioner. And because we named some of these, official diseases like arthritis, type 2 diabetes, fibromyalgia, I have to give you my standard disclaimer. I am not a medical doctor. I do not give medical advice. I do not diagnose. I don't treat. I don't cure disease. But what I do as a level 2 integrative health practitioner is I discover. I am a detective. So I have many hats, and one of those hats is a health detective. And I put that health detective hat on, and I love to be able to uncover the crime scene. What is the crime? The crime is why you're not feeling your best. And there's always an underlying root cause. So I like to expose that underlying root cause so we can work on that. And how do we do that? We do that through what's called the DESTRESS Protocol. And I'm going to talk today about what it is, where it comes from. And the DESTRESS Protocol is an acronym for diet, for exercise, for stress reduction, for toxin removal, for rest, for emotional balance, for science-backed supplements, and the success mindset. Now, I did not create this protocol. This protocol was taught to me by Dr. Stephen Cabral, my mentor and the founder of the Integrative Health Practitioner Institute. And the DESTRESS Protocol is what we are educated on to be able to help our clients with through our level 1 certification at that institute. Dr. Stephen Cabral is amazing, brilliant man. And he's taught me so much. So I really owe so much of where I'm at today to Dr. Stephen Cabral. So shout out to him. So yes, these are taught as a level 1 integrative health practitioner. And if you are interested in becoming a level 1 or level 2 integrative health practitioner, you can check out becoming a level 2 or becoming an integrative health practitioner. We'll link that up in the show notes so you can check that out, but it's also in my social media bio. There's a link there and it says become a health coach, and you can get a no pressure call from a rep from the Integrative Health Practitioner Institute just to dive into more of what that's about. And it can be a life-changing decision for you like it was for me. So let's dive into the plan, shall we? So today we are covering the DESTRESS Protocol, and that is an acronym we just went over. And the first part of that is diet. And diet does not mean caloric restriction. Diet has a lot more to do with what you are optimizing for. There are so many fad diets out there. How do you know which one to choose? Well, it all depends on what you're optimizing for. Do you want weight loss, or are you in the category of weight gain? Or do you want to maintain weight and now you're optimizing for longevity and you want a diet that's going to help you to live the longest, healthiest life. And, what you're eating also comes down to things like food sensitivities. Are we dealing with any food sensitivities? These are IgG food sensitivities, not IgE food sensitivities. And the difference is that IgE food sensitivities are immediate. So if you ate shellfish and your throat swells up, you have an immediate response to that food. But if you have a delayed response, and I mean delayed 12, 24, up to 72 hours later, that you have a reaction, a sensitivity to food, and that could be joint pain, that could be fatigue, that could be a headache, it could be all kinds of issues, digestive issues. How do you tie that back to what you had for lunch 3 days ago? You probably can't tell me what you ate for lunch or dinner 3 days ago. Maybe you can, but most people can't. So diet, it comes down to what you're optimizing for. And I could go on and on about each one of these categories, but I'm going to try to give you maybe 2 or 3 points on each one of the categories here. So exercise is not about crushing it at the gym. You have, as an integrative health practitioner, when I go over an exercise program with a client, I have to meet them where they are. And it's what we call a graduated exercise program. I'm not going to tell somebody to go out and start doing boot camps or HIIT training or some extreme cardio program or anything like that if they're simply not walking 10,000 steps a day. So this is what we call a graduated exercise program. Most people are walking 3,700 steps per day, and you really need to be at 10,000 steps per day. So by noontime, if you're not at maybe 5,000 steps, you're probably not going to get to your 10,000. But somewhere between 7,500 and 10,000 steps a day minimum is where we get people started. And then we can move on to some light cardio or some resistance training or body weight training before we get into heavier things like, weight training or boot camps or HIIT training or anything like that, or even sit training, which are sprint interval trainings. And it all depends on your exercise. What are you optimizing for? Are you just looking to lose weight? Are you looking for muscle tone? Are you looking for body transformation? It all makes a difference on what style exercise you're going to do. So the next category is stress reduction. Now, the DESTRESS Protocol might sound like you're trying to reduce stress in your life, and that, of course, is what everybody should be looking, at least monitoring what levels of stress you have. But stress reduction is the first S in the DESTRESS Protocol. And that is, I'll have to say, stress is the biggest root cause to imbalances in the body. It affects so much because stress allows your body to produce and release a hormone that's called cortisol. That is your stress hormone released by the adrenals. And there's something we call the HPA axis, which is the hypothalamus pituitary adrenal axis. So the hypothalamus tells the pituitary to secrete a hormone to trigger the adrenals to secrete cortisol in response to a stress. Now, this triggers the sympathetic nervous system when that happens, and that puts you into survival mode. And what we want for rest and digest and recovery is we want to be in the parasympathetic nervous system mode or zone. And that is the zone of love, the zone of growth, relaxation, rest, digest, those kind of things. And we want to be there. So stress reduction, like I said, stress and cortisol is the biggest driving factor. So if your body is chronically releasing cortisol, that is going to shut down digestion. It's going to cause bowel issues. It's going to cause brain fog. It's going to cause all kinds of things where your body is, fertility issues mainly because your body is not going to shift into that relaxed, okay, we're safe, we're going to be able to reproduce and create another life form and carry that life in our body if you're a woman. And when we are stressed, then our body is not going to be there. Our body is not going to be in that growth mode. It's going to be in survival mode. And when I talk about stressors, most people think about external stressors like financial or relationships or career or any of those things, stressful situations in our life. And that definitely plays a role in it. But there's an internal stressors that also play a role that most people overlook. So when I mention stress reduction, I'm talking about both external stressors and internal stressors. Now you may be wondering, what are some of those internal stressors? Well, we're going to talk about that right now. Some of those internal stressors could be toxicities, such as parasites. We're going to talk a little bit more about toxin removal in a minute, but if 1 in 3 people have parasites, if you're standing in the middle of 2 people and you look to your left and you look to the right and you know that those people don't have parasites, then chances are you have it. And it's a lot easier to get parasites than most people think. I'm not going to dive too deep into this, but you could certainly get a parasite from letting your dog kiss your face, drinking, water that maybe sat out overnight. You could get parasites from eating a strawberry from your local market. There could be a parasite in that berry as well. So parasites is just one example of an internal stressor. Could be something like heavy metal toxicity, could be something along the lines of some other toxin that's in your body, could be mold, like I said, parasites, anything like that could be an external, or rather an internal stressor in your body, especially the parasites and the mold. If those are in the body is in constant reaction to that, constant defense mode, constantly releasing cortisol to fight against these stealth pathogens that could be in your body. So keep in mind, stress reduction, there's internal and there's external. So now toxin removal, what do we do to get rid of those toxins? Well, it depends on what we have for toxicities in our body, depends on what we want to work on first. Now, if we have something like parasites, well, then that is I don't want to say an extreme case because it's common, but it's definitely reason for alarm. And that's something we want to get that other living organism that does not belong in the body out of the body so that we can calm that central nervous system, shift more into parasympathetic nervous system instead of sympathetic nervous system. And that's what we want to work on first. Things like parasites, things like mold. Then we'd move on to heavy metal toxicities, and then we'd work on other toxins as well. So there's so many environmental toxins. There's over 200,000 man-made chemicals in the environment today that they're in everything. They're in our food, they're in our water, they're in the air that we breathe, they're in the consumer products that we put on our skin and absorb into our body. I was just looking at a bottle of mouthwash that the orthodontist gave to my youngest son because he got his braces on yesterday, and all of the neurotoxins that are in that mouthwash led me to find an alternative for him to use to be able to keep his mouth, sanitized and, using all natural modalities and turning back to Ayurveda and one of the foundational principles of integrative health. So toxin removal, that's what we work on first. And then how do we do that? Well, there's toxin removal that we do annually. For instance, I just finished my annual heavy metal detox and my parasite cleanse detox. Even though I scored very low on a parasite assessment, I still do that every year just to rule that out and make sure that I don't have that. Same with a heavy metal detoxification protocol. I do that on an annual basis because I'm getting in those heavy metals. There's 5 main heavy metals that we test for in our practice using our functional medicine lab tests, and that would be they are lead, they are cadmium, arsenic, mercury, and aluminum. Those are the 5 heavy metals and they're everywhere. They are in pharmaceuticals. They are in our, kitchen and cookingware. If you're covering your food and baking it with, aluminum foil, then you are ingesting that aluminum. So we want to do these detoxes, some annually, some quarterly, like a 7-day functional medicine detox that we talk about, and we'll be having a podcast coming up on what that is about. Some of you that are private wellness practice clients, that's one of the first places we start after we do our functional medicine lab testing. So we do that quarterly, every 90 days, every change of season, and then once a year I do a 21-day community functional medicine detox as well. And then there is detoxification that we can do on a daily basis, and it's important to keep up with these because of those 200,000 man-made chemicals that we don't want in our body. So next point is rest in our 8-point de-stress protocol. Rest, recovery. You need to be getting that 7 to 9 hours of sleep every night. I spent years when I was in the construction industry getting 4 to 5 hours of sleep every single night, and it had a detriment on my health. I was in a downward spiral, and had I continued in that spiral, I probably wouldn't still be here on this earth today as a physical being. So 7 to 9 hours of sleep is super important, but not just the quantity of sleep. We're talking quality of sleep. You want to be getting into 90 minutes of deep sleep and 2 hours of REM sleep most nights during the week, if not every night. And how do you do that? Well, we have protocols to help you do that. Some of them are just lifestyle adjustments, which is the basis of this de-stress protocol that we're talking about here today. These are all just minor lifestyle adjustments, and we'll get into that more towards the end of this episode. But we do have deep sleep protocols, and we have the ultimate deep sleep protocol that can help you get into that 90 minutes of deep and 2 hours of REM sleep so that you wake up with vitality and energy. And it doesn't happen overnight. You don't just take a pill and then wake up refreshed in the morning. And, a lot of people struggle if they are overweight or obese. They have sleep apnea, and that is affecting their sleep and their sleep performance. So these are things that we can work on using the de-stress protocol. So next, the E in de-stress is emotional balance, or I should say the second E. We're talking about emotional balance here. And we need to make sure that our hierarchy of needs are being met. And this is based on Maslow's hierarchy of needs. This has been around for a long time, maybe even hundreds of years. These are basic needs we need to be able to make sure that they're being met. That's safety, that's security, that's food and water and shelter, those kind of things. And then next we move up the pyramid into psychological needs, and we want to make sure that those are being met. And then at the top of the pyramid, there are self-fulfilling needs, and you cannot satisfy those self-fulfilling needs if the basic needs are not being met, or even the psychological needs are not being met. So we want to make sure that the hierarchy of needs in our existence as a human being are being met. Next, for emotional balance, what type of vibration are you emitting, or what state of vibration are you in? Are you in a high state of vibration or a low state of vibration? A high state of vibration could be feelings of love, of gratitude, of freedom, of happiness. Those are some of my highest values in my life, and I put my attention on those. We're going to talk a little bit more about attention in a minute. Or are you in a lower state of vibration where you are getting into self-doubt and feelings of anger or fear or insecurity? Those type of lower vibrations, those are what we're talking about when we're talking about lower balance. And what happens is this affects our neurotransmitter balance inside of our bodies. Our neurotransmitters are chemical messengers in our body that communicate throughout all the cells. And these chemical messengers are sometimes part electro and sometimes part bio. So biological, or we are electro-biomechanical magnetic beings. But some of these neurotransmitters are dopamine, norepinephrine, and serotonin. And these can put us into high alert or give us a boost of adrenaline or create that happy, feel-good feeling from serotonin. And all of these need to be in balance. So that's what we're talking about with the E in the de-stress protocol when it comes to emotional balance. So the first S in de-stress protocol, well, I should say the third S, because we already went through stress reduction. So the third S is science-backed supplements. And why do we need supplementation? And could we survive just on supplements alone? Could you skip all your meals and just take supplements and survive? No, you can't. That's why they're called supplements, because they are supplemental to the food that you're eating. So why can't we just eat the right foods and skip the supplements? Because of soil depletion. The soil is so depleted that it has in some cases, 50% less of the nutrients than it had, and I'm talking about minerals in particular and vitamins, that it had maybe 30, 40, 50 years ago. So the soil is so depleted that you're not getting the electrolytes, you're not getting the magnesium and the calcium and the sodium and the potassium, or even other, micronutrients and non-essential minerals such as boron and some others like that. You're just not getting those through food. And then, if we are supplementing, we want to make sure that we're supplementing with a good product and not just throwing our money away. If you're buying your multivitamin at the same place that you're buying your toilet paper and toothpaste, for instance, then most likely you might as well just be flushing those vitamins down the toilet, because they're essentially they're junk. They're the same as that used toilet paper you're flushing down there. You want to be using a reputable, science-backed, functional medicine grade supplement when you are supplementing with either a multivitamin or a multi-mineral and getting those supplemental nutrients into your body. You want to be using a functional medicine grade. Now, of course, we've partnered with the company Equilife, which is a functional medicine grade company that provides supplements and the functional medicine labs that we use. And they're amazing, but you don't have to use the company that we recommend. The one thing I do love about Equilife is they're very transparent about what they put in their products. So if you did want to use multiple products from a different brand, or if you had some things on your shelf and you're like, well, I don't want to throw these away, can I still use them? You know, when we're looking at a multivitamin or a protocol, you can look at the labels of the ingredients that's in every single one of those. And that's one thing that I love about the Equilife company is they're very transparent about their products with the ingredients, and not a lot of companies are doing that out there. But Pure Encapsulations is another one. Thorn is another one. Trying to think of who else I've used in the past, but there are so many out there that you could use for supplementation. But knowing your levels, how do you know what supplement to take? How do you know if you need more magnesium? How do you know if your magnesium and calcium minerals are in the proper ratio? And that's where we get into the functional medicine lab testing. So we don't guess. We don't want to be spending money that we don't need to. And, you know, a lot of people say, well, what about this mushroom blend, Jeff? I have this new mushroom blend that I want to try using. Well, you know, before you do that, let's talk about some of the foundational things. Are you getting enough antioxidants into your body? Are you getting enough, you know, vitamin C for your immunity? Are you getting enough calcium and magnesium and glutathione and detoxification minerals and food sources and supplements in your body to make sure that you're functioning at the highest level before you move into using, you know, like a mushroom supplement or something like that? So knowing your levels is important when it comes to supplements. So last in the de-stress protocol, the last S is success mindset. Success mindset. Where are you focused on? Are you focused on the past? Are you focused on the present? Are you focused on the future? Because most people are, you know, they exist in the present, but they're always talking about the past. And they're always talking about things that went wrong and talking about things that could go wrong. So this ties into, you know, emotional balance and success mindset. They sort of go hand in hand. And most people are focused, you know, maybe they're worried about the future and they're hung up on the past. They are attached to something that happened in the past. They're still beating that vibrational drum of this person did this to me, or I have this, you know, health ailment, or whatever the case may be. And they're not focused on where they are now, what their opportunities are in the future, or presently, and what they can achieve in the future. So I love working with my clients. Now this comes into putting my hypnosis hat on and working with clients on their future self. Because when we hold our attention in the past, we're going to repeat the past. We're going to become a product of the past, and we're going to repeat that history. But if we create a future in our minds for ourselves and hold our attention there, that energizes that future for us, that creates that and energizes. Attention will energize, and your intention will transform. So remember that. That's part of the success mindset formula is attention energizes and intention transforms. So ask yourself, where is my attention right now? Is it on something that's serving me well? Is it on something that I want to bring into my life? Or is it on things that I don't want, or things that have happened to me, or, you know, resentment towards somebody else, or jealousy? That goes back to emotional balance and the vibration that we're looking at. So remember, attention energizes, intention transforms. Every episode, I'd love to give you a call to action. So we're going to hit 3 points here. And first, before we hit those 3 points, I want you to imagine life without those problems. Imagine life without issues, health issues, without business issues. Imagine all the things that you want. So that gets into that success mindset. And then begin to put the de-stress protocol into action and pick, that's point number one. begin to put the de-stress protocol into action. Go back, listen to this episode. You can download the transcription so you can read through it. You can look at the show notes and learn more about the de-stress protocol. And then pick one category, whether it's diet or exercise or stress reduction or toxin removal or rest or emotional balance or science-backed supplements or success mindset. Pick one of those 8 categories and implement that daily. And if that's too much for you to do daily, if that's too overwhelming for where you're at right now, then go weekly. And if you just pick one category per week, in 8 weeks, that's 2 months, you're going to see a profound difference in your life if you just do that weekly. If weekly is too much, do it monthly. And now you're having profound results in a matter of less than a year, when you could have been struggling with these things for, years or even decades. And then what we do is we habit stack. We stack these habits. So if you're picking one thing daily to add, maybe it's simply putting a glass of water, clean spring water or clean filtered water, ready on your nightstand. So when you wake up in the morning, you're starting your day with that clean, healthy water. Water is the fuel for your body. Your body needs water out of anything. You can go 3 days without eating, but you cannot go 3 days without hydration. You definitely won't survive that duration. And then if you want to take that to the next level, maybe squeeze some fresh lemon in there. Organic lemon juice, you're going to get those enzymes in there. That's going to help with detoxification process. It's going to wake you up. You want to enhance that a little bit more, put a little bit of Celtic sea salt in there. I just happen to have, if you're watching this on video, some Redmond's real salt here. This stuff is amazing. Over 64, I think, or 84 trace minerals in this Redmond sea salt, ancient fine sea salt. It's amazing stuff. I'll link that up as well. I'm not sure if I can link up any... I can link up labs, but I cannot link up supplements here because we were mentioning medical conditions and diseases and things like that. So unfortunately, the FDA will not let that happen in a podcast. But anyways, and then number 3 in the call to action, success is an equation, and your effort in will result in your results out, or give you the results out. So there's your equation. Your amount of effort in is directly proportional to the amount of results that you're going to get out of your de-stress protocol. So I'm here to help you avoid failure. I want to continue helping you in this fashion. And if you are continuing the accumulation of unwanted health conditions, that is just a destiny for failure, my friends. I want to hear your success story. I want to be part of your success story. I want you to begin a new habit today for a less stressful life tomorrow. And I'm not just talking about external stressors. I'm talking about those internal stressors in every one of the 8 points of the de-stress protocol. So your 3 key takeaways today is it's clear that there is always a reason why. There's always a reason why you're not feeling your best. And we can discover that underlying root cause with those at-home functional medicine lab tests that I talk about on almost every episode. Number 2, for your key takeaways, it's clear that you can choose to live by possibility rather than circumstance. What are the circumstances? The circumstances are the diagnosis you may have, the health condition you may have, maybe the lack of success in your life or feelings of apathy or anything like that. Those are all circumstantial. But is it possible to reverse all those things and to live a life of vitality and possibility and success? Yes, it absolutely is. So start living by possibility rather than circumstance. And point number 3, key takeaway, it's clear that I am 100% committed to your success by showing up here every single day. So I want you to show up for yourself in your life and start applying the de-stress protocol. I'm grateful for you being here today. Please share this episode with anybody you feel as though it could serve. And please take 1 minute and go to your favorite podcast platform, wherever you're listening today, and leave a review so that we can help more people. And we'll see you next time with Breaking Boundaries. Bye-bye, everybody. Before we say goodbye, you may not have realized it, but you can get free daily access to our thriving Love Energy Wellness community and support group where you'll join health-conscious entrepreneurs just like you. I know you're concerned about your health, energy, and performance. That's why I personally answer your questions daily, invite you to our weekly live calls, and share pro-wellness tips for energy and performance and exclusive offers just for our community members. This is also your support hub when we gather every 90 days for a total body and mind reset, also known as the world-renowned Dr. Cabral Functional Medicine Detox Protocol. You're going to love the way you feel every time. So if you're the kind of entrepreneur that values your health as your greatest asset, naturally you'll want to join and invite your friends, your family, and your colleagues to our community where you'll feel loved, supported, seen, and heard. Visit loveenergywellness.com to join the community, or the link is also right here in today's show notes. I'll see you soon.